Aslı. Hello, Gökçe.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome
Hello.
to the game. Hi. And thanks for accepting our invite.
It's really nice to meet
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Aslı is a game producer at Joy Game, and she has been in game industry for more than 8 years. And Gökçe is also co-founder of Tune Metal, and he is now a product manager also at Tune Metal. Also, I think you've been product manager in so many companies. So I'd like to hear more about you yourself, and also we are going to hear more about a mutual product, I think, you had together. And that's so interesting to hear more from you yourself. So it's all to you, and I want to hear more. Please.
Thanks a lot for introduction. And if you allow me, I will now share our presentation. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Cool. Okay. So maybe I can start. I'm Aslı, and I've been a game producer for a year at Joy Game. And I am a gamer for a long time now, for over years. And I really enjoy the game industry. It's really a satisfying job to do. And I hope we are gonna launch more and more games in time with Gökçe. So Gökçe, you can introduce yourself now.
Okay. Hello, I'm Gökçe. I'm working in the game industry for like 8 plus years. For the last 4 or 5 years, I'm in the product management phase of my career, but I was also working before as a developer. So I started as a developer, and now we founded our own company with another co-founder and released our first game. It's in our soft launch phase right now. We will discuss it in a minute. And that's it. We are working hard with Joy Game and to see a good result. And hopefully it will be very soon.
Yeah, we hope that together. So I want to just briefly introduce what we are going to talk about today. First, we will talk about soft launching in general, why it's really important along a product cycle of a game, why we do that. And second, we will talk about the strategies that we follow during the soft launching process. And then, of course, we will get into details of Hamster Escapes, how we soft launched it, what are the key takeaways from that experience. And as Gökçe mentioned, Hamster Escape is the first game that we are launching together with the Tune Metal games. So we are really excited about the product, and we will try to give you some insight about what we done so far, and what are the important things that we considered along the way. So we can start with by soft launching, why it's really important. It's usually after the for initial marketing test or CTR test, we usually go for a build that is available for soft launching, and the aim is here is having an idea of what the metrics, what are the experience will look like in our game. Gökçe, please feel free to interrupt me anytime you wanna add something.
Yeah.
I will just
of course
summarize the idea here. And this is an excellent opportunity to rehearse the game before we go for a global launch. Actually, that's a milestone. You may as well kill the game at this point if the result is not satisfying. And this is a great process to optimize your metrics, as you will see in following slides as well. Soft launching is not one build. It's usually build after build until you reach the point that you optimize your metrics, you optimize all the experience in the game. So in the end, your game might look like very different from where you begin, but in a good way. This way, of course, you are minimizing your risk of failure because you reached a certain point with your game. And of course, in the end, your game is really enhanced in terms of game designing, level designing, and of course, your monetization strategies within. So this is the general idea of soft launching in any given game, regardless of its genre.
Yes, I made one or two things. The general idea is Aslı mentioned. We are actually checking here if this is a profitable business for the title. And as Aslı mentioned, we may kill games if it's not profitable. And all these things mentioned actually help us to figure it out. Especially the metrics we check, some KPIs we will mention in detail, I guess, in the later slides. Is the first thing we check in the soft launch. And since the competition is very high right now in any game genre, it's like hyper casual or hybrid casual or casual games. Soft launching is like the most important things when you are like producing a game. Because you may find yourself like producing a game for several months or even years, and then if you go for a hard launch and notice it's not profitable, then it's not a very good situation for the studio or the investors. And this pipeline really helps us out to figure this out actually.
Great, yes, great point. So I'm moving forward to the strategies that we consider during soft launching. These are, you may consider those as milestones as well along the soft launching process. So first, you need to decide which country, which region you are going to conduct your soft launch, because the whole idea of soft launching is you are launching your game in a restricted area. And this could mean the platform as well. You may go only for iOS or only for Android or both as well. It's usually the US and other several countries and regions selected for soft launching. And there should be, it's really strongly advised that having a process owner for the whole soft launching, that could be a product manager or publishing manager, whatever your situation is. It's really important to have, it's really important to define your metrics, what metrics you are trying to reach in the end of the soft launching. So this will be the point you will check, as Gökçe mentioned, is if your game is profitable or not. So this is like an important, I think, milestone, because this is the point where you can decide move forward with your game or not, or kill the game. So, of course, you will have all the overall plan before starting. That's really important. And after that, after development, when you're taking actions, it's really important to make all your decisions based on data to reach solid answers, solid results. Usually the cases, the soft launching goes with iterating new builds after and after. And of course, along the way, constantly there are marketing tests and creative testing going on. Marketing testing usually goes for user acquisition tests, user acquisition campaigns. And as for creative testing, usually what we do is we start with a couple of ideas, usually that is inspired by the benchmark games. Afterwards, we select the best performers and we try to iterate on them, and after until we reach until we reach the metrics that we are desired for this testing. If you like to add something at that point, feel free.
No, I will go in detail in the later slides, I think.
Okay,
You
great.
explained it quite well here.
Okay, so far we tried to introduce what is soft launching in briefly. Now we are going to into details of Hamster Escapes. We just wanted to introduce the game. If you didn't play it yet, we strongly advise you install and play it. And if you have any feedbacks, feel free to reach out to us. So Hamster Escape is a hybrid casual game, and it's idle arcade game. There's a story behind, of course. There's a hamster family. I'm sure Gökçe will tell you all the story in detail. So this family is really unfortunate. Lots of things happening to them, and they're trying to escape. And there's a quick video of introduction video of the game I'd like to share. Oh. So I'm giving you the word.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I can mention the story behind it a little bit. Actually, the hamster concept came as an idea for a friend in Joy Game. He like advised us that we can make a game, idle arcade game that has a concept of a hamster, because we checked some YouTube trends and Google search trends, and like the hamster keyword searching was going high, and we didn't like pick the concept directly like let's do some hamster game. We researched the data as we do on our products usually, and then we try to make it fun by creating some enemies, and there's a hamster family. You run away from the enemies by solving puzzles with the idle arcade mechanics actually. The game is looking quite good because we made it hand painted, and normally hyper casual or hybrid casual games doesn't look this good because the production phase gets longer if you hand paint an asset in the game industry. But we went for this way. Our goal was to reduce CPI costs actually, and it kind of worked out in the end. You will see in the later slides. We are very happy with the result. Of course, there are some metrics we need to fix, but for the soft launch phase, we are happy with the overall look and feel and the metrics of the game. So that's Hamster Escapes. I recommend you to play it if you haven't.
Great. And of course, there are cute hamsters, and there's a horrifying Dr. Human that's trying to capture our hamsters. It's really exciting. So you got the idea. I will move forward. Sorry, I will move forward, but I think the video will start again. So what I'm gonna do is I will start from there. Yeah. So after discussing briefly what our game looked like, what was the idea behind, let's go into detail of the soft launching process. We are still at soft launching process actually. What we did is we released 2 versions before, and now we are about to publish the 3rd version very soon actually. So this is sorry, I'm not sure if you can see the whole screen here.
Yes,
maybe this is better.
You mean
okay,
the text here? We can read it.
Yeah, in the right part, because the video part is blocking my screen. So now I'm sure you're better. Okay, Cool. So this is just the history, what we've done so far. I'm just gonna summarize what's shown here briefly, then we can go into details of that. First, we released the first version, soft launching volume 1 in February 2022. So content here was 6 levels and around 40 minutes of gameplay in total. So idea was here to understand how the players are engaged with the game, how the play times and retention looks like, how are the CPIs going. So that's why to understand the player behavior without the interruption of the ads, we released that version with that content only. So the result was, as you've seen, we reached a really strong, a really promising playtime and also retention rate. And CPI was, of course, we aim to be better, but of course it was okay, all right as well. So what we see, what we saw in the first volume is the engagement is high, as we expected from that from that volume actually. And what we decided to do is afterwards, we decided to integrate the ads, the rewarded and interstitial ads, and of course create more content for the players because playtime was really high. And the behavior was generally when players starts the game, they finish it. So there is no more content to play. So what we did is we decided to add more content for those players. Afterwards, with that action plan, we released the second version on May 2022. In this version, you could see 9 levels and around 90 minutes of gameplay. Sorry. And in this content, there was also interstitial and rewarded ad integrations. In the result was very satisfactory actually. We saw that there is a higher engagement with the rate, with the game, a higher day one retention rate, a higher play times, and lower CPIs. That was actually the whole idea, the whole aim in the first place. So after that, when we interpret that results, we also got into detail of level analysis, drop-off analysis. So we come up with an action plan. And what we did is we come up with some actions to increase engagement of the players. So what we did is we introduced a new theme in the game, a space theme. With that, we added new levels. We added in-app purchases. And we are going to publish that version really soon, and we hope to see the KPIs get better. So right now the development and QA process is going on for the volume 3. It will be published soon. So yes, that's the general history of the game.
Yes, I can also say a few words if you want.
Sure. Sorry, I was having a problem with the...
Okay.
Yeah, please go.
No problem. Okay, so here we put some results, metrics we achieved. Actually, soft launch is like a combination of iterations. We are iterating the game as like usual now in hyper casual or hybrid casual genres. The first thing we did in the first version was actually checking the technical problems, if we have any bugs, and of course the playtime was important for us, the metric, and also retention rates, but it was not like a priority for us. And after we achieved that the players like the game, the mechanics and the puzzles and everything, and we achieved something like a profitable CPI, CTR, and LTV rates, we decided to iterate the second version actually. We added some new levels, and in this phase, we decide if we should produce new content or we should adjust the content optimize the game and everything. And we decided to add new levels in every iteration because we are aiming for a higher LTV right now, and lowering CPI is not enough for a profitable game, and that's why we are trying to get higher LTV and higher day one retention rates. Our goal is here for the third version is to get a 40% or around 40% day one retention and increase the play times like to 3,000 seconds while keeping the CPI low as this, because and these metrics may change, affecting like everything we aimed in the beginning, and it's critical, of course. Now, there are not so many data here, but as far as I can say, we got good eCPM values and LTV is promising, and monetization of the game doesn't look bad at all. And we will add, as Aslı said, in-app purchases in the new version, and hopefully then we will start scaling the game if we achieve all the metrics we aimed for in the beginning. And that will be like in two weeks, hopefully.
Yeah. So maybe I can just mention one thing. Before, in previous presentations, we talked about how data is really important. Maybe we can a little bit discuss about which data we take a look at while we, especially after the second release, what kind of data we looked at. So we created, of course, we looked through all the retention rates, play times, CPI, CTRs, all the marketing test results. But after that, along with that, maybe we also got into details of player behavior within the levels. So in which levels they are more integrated, in between which levels we have drop-off rates. So in addition to that, we conduct some player tests from different approach, different player behaviors. So all in all, combining all this, we achieved some results, some feedbacks in the game. That was the origin of some features included in the third version. Actually, that was really helpful. And this is our approach for every feature, every iteration that we are working on, actually. The solid data.
Yes, totally.
Right. So
data means a lot.
Yes.
I should have kept my question until the end, but I have questions from here. So,
sure.
So this is something interesting for me that so once the game, so correct me if I'm not right. So
sure.
Once the game is good enough, like having good playtime and retention, so you kept, so you didn't drop off the game and you kept working on the game and iterated. So this is interesting that, so you are not looking at the CPI on the first version, but looking at the quality of the game, like playtime and retention, like as the first, like most important KPIs, and then working at the CPI on the next levels. So is it right?
That's true, and that's really a good point, actually, because hybrid casual games are a little bit different by nature from hyper casual games. So our approach to all games, as Joy Game is, interpreting all data available in Combine rather than sticking just one metric alone. So the idea was here to understand the overall performance of the game, if there is something promising here, if there is something we can work on here. So that was the idea. Of course, lowering CPI was always our goal, and it was that is including the volume one as well. But that was one parameter. So it's really better to make decisions based on all data available. And I think that's really important, because otherwise you can have an opportunity cost. You can kill a game that has actually potential. That is our approach. And you will notice that in the first volume, there is no adding integration. So it didn't feel right to interpret CPI alone. In addition to CPI, we need to see the ad performance to calculate the overall return on ad spend, the overall performance. So in the first volume, as you mentioned, the idea was understanding how engaged are players and how they are responding to the theme, to the mechanics, the whole game. So first check was that. After that, in the second volume, if the case was like, if there was any bad metrics at that point, we might decide to drop the game, but that wasn't the case. Fortunately, it's gone better and better. So in the volume 2, we got a chance to observe the ad performance as well, which was really promising as well. So that was the second check that we move forward with the third version.
Thank you.
Yes, I can also make a comment here, because it's an important question. The thing is, we are happy to work with Joy Games, and this relates to your question, because some other publishers may kill a game directly with this data in the first iteration, because there are some limits. Let's say if you have a higher CPI than 40 cents, or if day one retention is lower than, like, let's say 35 points, they kill a game directly. But the thing is, when we start producing this game, Idle Arcade was not like this much hype. And there were like 2-3 games only, and we decided to keep going because there were some promising data and comments about the game, and we didn't kill it. And the first iteration, we didn't go for the CPI, and the quality of the videos were not like the one in the second iteration. We did like quick videos and gather some users inside and check the playtime and if they like the mechanics. And actually, there was not enough content for good retention rates too. But after we see that there's a good playtime metric and some others as well, and the CPI could be lowered like to 20-30 cents, we decided to go, and now we are happy with the result. And because the retention rates gone higher, actually this is what is about soft launching. In the second iteration, we figured out we have a bug that the players cannot continue playing. It was like a very critical bug, and because of that, retention rates were lower. And now we fixed that, and hopefully there will be a bugless version in the third iteration. And you may never know, it's like game business is always surprising. And that's why we are expecting now higher retention rates, and the content is, let's say, almost like 3 hours of gameplay right now. And now we will aim for day 7 and day 14 retentions, as well as day 1 and day 3 going higher. And hopefully the LTV will go higher. And that's why we didn't kill the game in the beginning. Also because the assets we created, they were looking so good. We didn't want to kill this game after working so hard on it. Let's see, in the third iteration, we want to scale it like to millions of downloads, hopefully.
Hopefully. And maybe I can add just one more sentence and we can wrap up this part. One great advantage of considering different parameters, different metrics in Combine is, for example, on volume 1, based on that table, you may think that maybe the one retention rate is not in a point that's desirable at that point. But the case was, which was really interesting, we went into details of the gameplay data, and we saw that most of our players completed the whole content on day 0. So there was no more content content for day one, because they started the game and they ended in the same session. That was the case. So when you look at the retention rate, you may think that's low, but the case was different. So that's why we strongly advise considering the all data, really understanding it rather than just putting a percentage there. So I think we can wrap up that part. And yeah, I cannot move forward with that. I'm gonna, yeah, okay. So some key takeaways from our experiences with that game and in our previous experiences as well is, and some of them we already mentioned, but we want to underline because we think that all of them really important. First thing first, the whole thing should be based on data, rely on the data, other than the whole comments and everything. Data tells you the truth all the time. The second one that we actually talked really into detail is don't fall into one metric trap. That would mislead you. Whatever the metric is, that would mislead you. You should see the whole picture for the game. The third one is it's really important to set the KPIs and the content for the next iteration that is aligned. So if you make an action plan with a content that is not actually talking to the KPIs for the next iteration, in the end you might struggle what happened there. So it's really important to set them in alignment in the first place. And the fourth one is it's really important to plan everything, the whole action, before giving a start to the development. So if that's the case, you know what to expect, when to expect, in which order. So it's really important to follow up to complete the whole development, the whole action plan in time, and of course to be noticed if there's any delay, if there's any struggle along the way. If you have a plan, it will lead your way for whole team, because developers are involved, product management is involved, our team is involved, publishers are involved. So whoever is creating the plan should consider the whole team and come up with a clear plan for everyone. Any comments on this point?
Nope, I don't have.
Great. So that was all from us today. We hope that you enjoyed it, and I really appreciate you hosted us today. If you have any questions, we are happy to answer. Please feel free to reach out any of us if you have any comments or questions. And thanks a lot.
Thank you, Aslı. Thank you, Gökçe. We are going to meet you hopefully in Q&A session.
Great. Thanks
Yes,
a lot.
thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Bye bye.